Ladies and gentlemen, this is the lady known as Jhené Aiko, also known as Chilombo.
Yes.
Actually, you're known as all of them.
I'm known as Jhené Aiko Ifuru Chilombo, or Ifuru Chilombo.
Give us the whole story of the name.
My father, Karamo Chilombo, he changed his name in his early 20s. My dad is like 76 now. He grew up in that era when
Muhammad Ali,
yeah, it was
Kareem
like
Abdul-Jabbar.
he felt no connection to his birth given name, and so he changed his name. Growing up, it was always hard for people to say, and people would be like, what does your last name mean? Where does this come from? And I would just be like, I don't know, my dad changed his name. And I felt a little like embarrassed about it. But then I got older and I started doing my own research and found out that it was a word in an African language that means wild beast or monster. And as I got older and just came into, and am still coming into my womanhood, I was like, I like that, you know? I don't think there's anything wrong with embracing my powerful side. And now there's a whole tribe of us. There's a whole, you know, my dad has 8 kids and we have kids and they're gonna have kids and we're all Chilombos.
You know, there's so many things on here and so many different vibes too. Very organic. It feels like at a certain point around Surrender, the album gets even more open.
Yeah.
It breathes a little bit more. It gets very calm.
Yeah.
It was angsty a little bit, but then it opens up.
You know, so I say like, this is not a linear, perfect story. You know how like a movie will be like, oh, it starts off with all this chaos and then it ends and it's like the perfect ending. That's not real life.
That's right.
You know, it goes up and down. You don't know which way it's gonna go. And I feel like that's how this album flows. It's like, I'm triggered, I miss you, we have sex, actually, I'm fine, I'm really just healing myself right now. Maybe we should try it again. You know what I mean? Like, those are like real thoughts. It's like, whoever tells you that they aren't is just lying to their self. Because it's like, these are just regular emotions that I'm not afraid to, you know, and that nothing really was deliberate. It was just kind of like, let's just give like a real raw feeling to these songs with these real instruments, with these real emotions.
On the album cover, like it's very a fresh-faced, you know, clear, this is me.
And I've never done that before.
Right. Why now?
Why now? Well, growing up, I was always very self-conscious and like dealt with a lot of self-esteem issues. And I don't know, I just never liked my face. That was one of the things I dealt with too when I was younger. I would always just be like, oh, like I couldn't look at pictures of myself. I hated video shoots, photo shoots, all of those things. I almost thought that I had that, body dysmorphic disorder where you just like see yourself very like distorted when you look at yourself. Basically, I'm just not in that place anymore.
The audience, I'm sure, listening to this conversation right now is probably mind blown that the beautiful Jhené Aiko had issues with her appearance, but it's just so common, right? Like you're seen as one of the most beautiful artists out there, and to hear that.
It's the makeup, and I'm just kidding. See me in the morning, change your mind.
I doubt it. How did Nas end up on 10,000 Hours?
Well, all of the songs were recorded already, and they were full songs, and it was kind of like, no one even was like, you need features, but I wanted it to be just this full-bodied piece of work where, because there was a point in time where I was like, I don't need features. Like, I can do a song by myself and it'd be, you know, tight by just me. But then it's like the element of collaborating with people, you know, and coming together is just like, we need more of that. Just
community.
In life, period.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, I did the song. It was a full, complete song. And I was just like, this beat reminds me, like, I hear Nas on it. He came and I talked to him about the song and like what I meant by certain things. And he went in and like killed it. I was like, oh my God, like it was like legendary. I'm like, I can't believe Nas is right there, like recording a verse for my album. Wow. Sounding just like Nas.
Yeah.
Like, I like to think that if I were a rapper, even though I'm kind of a rapper.
You're a rapper. I was going to get to that.
If I was
you got bars.
If I was solely a rapper, I would be Absol. Like he's one of my favorite rappers. We're on the same page as far as like our thought process. And I knew that he would get it. The first time I listened to the verse that he sent back. I memorized it. And I was like saying it word for word the next time I listened back.
One Way Street. On this song, and I guess you get into the interlude, Define Me, and then Surrender.
Yeah.
This is the point in the album where the tone changes.
Yeah.
And you say you put this together just based on the vibe and sonically how each song felt. But I also feel like from Define Me, I start to hear more of the organic instruments where I'm hearing more piano, I'm hearing more guitar, and I'm also hearing more of the sound bowls in the forefront a little bit.
The whole process of making this album, I've been studying sound healing. I'm surrounded by musicians, obviously. They know a lot more about music than me. But as I was learning about sound healing, I would bring the books to them and say, oh, did you know that this key resonates with this part of the body? Or did you know that this vowel sound resonates with this part of the body? So I got everyone the book. And we would start making a song and it would be like, oh, this sounds tight. And it would be the 808 and all of that. And I'm like, yeah. But then I'm like, wait, let's make sure that we stick to this idea and vision that I have of bringing these real tones to the music that people can't actually feel. Because although you can feel, you know, a created 808 or a drum machine.
It's not
drum.
as organic as the
It's not
real
as
thing.
organic.
Yeah.
You actually really don't feel it as much as you'll feel someone actually playing the drums. And so as I was learning, they were learning. And around the time I did Define Me, that was one of the last ones that I did. That's me playing the little drums too. It's like a hand-carved rectangular drum. At that point, I'm like deep in it. Now I'm kind of like just ready to make the whole album with just bowls. And so then I said, I have to put this in the music because people come up to me and they let me know, oh, your music helps me sleep, it helps me study, it's helped me through a hard time. For me, when I'm making the music, I'm just like making it for myself, like to get through whatever I'm going through or to just express what I'm feeling. But then when I realized why people were listening to my music, and then I found this tangible thing, this sound healing that is actually healing on the cellular level. I put those two thoughts together and I was like, okay, my purpose in doing my music is not just for me to get through things, but it's to help other people. Me knowing that, I was like, I felt like it was my responsibility to add the bowls, to start adding even more bowls, to do a whole album of just bowls. And just the more that I learn about sound healing altogether, it's just like, I'm gonna incorporate it more and more.
I would love to understand track 12, Born Tired. Mm-hmm. Lyrically, it feels like you're talking to someone who's going through something similar.
Yeah.
And there's this kind of idea that you can't stop fighting even if you're tired.
Yeah.
I think it's the lyrics.
That song, I was also speaking to myself. Even triggered, actually. When I first said, go figure, you were the trigger, you brought me to an obstructive view when you knew the picture was bigger. Who am I kidding? Knew from the beginning. You do it every time, you ruin everything. That was actually me talking to myself. Of course, it could double as me talking to the other person too, because I'm like, I also kind of feel like that about you too, but really the main thing when I first said it and like freestyled it, I was like talking to myself. And so anyway, with Born Tired, yeah, it's just about, even though you're tired, you like push through, but it's okay to be tired and get your rest too.
Chilombo, the album, it was a pleasure sitting here talking to you about this. And congratulations on your journey too. It feels like a completion in a period.
I just feel like with each project, I'll be more and more of myself. You know what I mean? Which I feel like as we all grow, we just become, as long as we don't get lost in the bullshit and we commit ourselves to growing and evolving for the better. That's what you're seeing in this album. And the next album, you'll be like, she's coming even more into her own. And I'm like, also more confident to be myself in its entirety, because it can be anything at any given moment.